Well, I think at the moment, we must also remember the high prices that we are experiencing in Namibia is not Namibia specific. Currently, the entire world is experiencing a very alarming cost of living crisis. So it's really not Namibia specific. The whole world is suffering. And also the case in point, the SARB, which is the South African Reserve Bank, announced its second consecutive 75 basis points rate hike yesterday, on Thursday, bringing that to their key repo rate to 6.25%. And I think our central bank monetary policy committee is sitting next week, and we can surely expect a hike or some kind of response similar to what the South has done.
With the set mentioned crisis, Ms. Kalondo, how can government possibly assist its citizens to cope? Considering its
I think before the government how to cope, basically the government, or rather the state apparatus, has only got the interest rate as a means to try and control, manage and contain inflation. And I think by next week we have to see now what the Bank of Namibia's NBC is going to do and going to say, because that's going to inform our reality. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, with these rate hikes, which I think we've experienced two in this year, our current prime lending rate is 9.25%, and our home loan base rate is 10.25%. And if there's no movement from the MPC next week, that's going to stay the same or it's going to stay unchanged. But due to the rising interest rates, all debt has become more expensive. And it's making it difficult and more difficult to honor installments or commitments to higher purchase and to installments that you have to pay, because they're increasing and putting additional pressure on already compressed disposable incomes. So it's difficult for everybody. So basically what we as consumers can do is to prioritize our debt. We have to prioritize our debt because it's becoming more and more expensive. Right. And we have to take more from what's left of our disposable income to actually now make up the shortfall, or rather what's created by the increase of the interest rate. So the household economy is going to be very, very depressed. So what I would advise consumers, all of us, to do is to look at our debt situation very, very honestly and very pragmatically. And secondly, before it strangles, start talking to your creditors, make arrangements, decrease living expenses as much as you can, and to manageable yet to the bare minimum. It will still stick. I think this is one thing we have to take away. This is not going to be difficult. It affects every economy, every household. It doesn't matter at what level of any income you are. So don't expect this to be a painless exercise. It's going to affect us all. We will all feel it.
Just if you could just briefly, quickly elaborate on what you just mentioned now, because, there seems to be a mismatch here where we see the inflation, but the wages are not increasing. How do we fill that gap?
Selma, this is another reality that we have to face. An economy is as good as it is productive. And remember, we are still in the throes of the impact of COVID on our economy. And that not only ours, every other economy. So we're still limping as we have been bruised by COVID. Some industries, some sectors have really been knocked down to its knees. So this is a very difficult time. And it's a very complex problem that's going to need very complex and very, very innovative, but also immediate solutions. So I think the conversation is going to be more sectoral, and the partners will all come together, industry, public sector, and the banks will have a conversation. But as consumers, we have to look inward and deal with our reality.
Right. Well, management consultant Abben Kalondo, we thank you so much for talking to us on how to cope with this rising costs of goods and services. Thank you for joining us.